right, folks, it is time for everyone's favorite segment, or least favorite segment, Yikes. Yikes, where we find reasons to be afraid and things we should definitely be afraid of. Yes. I just found this one this week. We're in some serious trouble, folks. Real serious trouble, because it looks like the overwhelming majority of the bees in our country have died in the last year or so. That's right. That's right. Honeybees in the U.S. are currently facing significant challenges, with reports indicating unprecedented colony losses. You never want to hear that word unprecedented when it comes to something bad. That's how you know you need to start freaking out. As of early 2025, commercial beekeepers have experienced an average of 62% colony loss over the past winter, with projections suggesting this could rise to 70% for the year. This is a sharp increase from historical norms, where annual losses were typically 10 to 20% before the early 2000s. And now, even the 40 to 50% we've seen in recent decades is now being surpassed. So we are seeing unprecedented losses of bees. You kind of need them. If you like eating food on a daily basis, they kind of pollinate a lot of different plants. Yeah. Now, according to scientists, several factors are driving this whole thing. There are parasites like varroa mites that are happening, which, you know, that's a thing. They are weakening bees and spreading viruses such as deformed wing virus. Does not sound like something you'd want to get, deformed wing virus. Now, they also have poor nutrition due to habitat loss. Now, why are they losing their habitats? I believe it's called humans. Humans is why they're losing their habitats. And there are fewer wildflowers, and there's less diverse forage, and these things are leaving the bees less resilient. So they're like us. We've poisoned ourselves. If you just heard the last segment from our friends over at Breaking Points, what we're eating is killing us and making us less resilient. And now we're forcing the bees to eat crap that's killing them as well and leaving them less resilient. There's also pesticides, another thing caused by humans. These pesticides, the exposure to these, particularly to neonicotinoids, hope I got that right, further stresses colonies. And climate change disrupts flowering seasons and weather patterns, which are compounding these issues. So we're seeing climate change all around us all the time. Like here, I used to say for years, you know what I like about living here right by the lake in Gary and Northwest Indiana? We don't get any extreme weather here. Never had a tornado wreck anything in my lifetime. Well, that wasn't until 2 weeks ago, when we got hit by a tornado in downtown Gary. I remember it used to be snow on the ground. There generally used to be snow on the ground for virtually all of December and January and February and deep into March. I was born in late March, and I was born during a snowstorm. I remember it snowing into May at times when I was growing up. Now, I think I may have used a snowblower maybe once or twice this whole year, this past year. We're definitely seeing the climate change, and it's not just affecting us. with this extreme weather that we're getting around here, it's also affecting the bees and other insects and other animals. And we have to prepare ourselves for what this means for the near future. And so the beekeepers and the researchers are describing this as a perfect storm of interacting stressor. So we see this time and time again. These are the pressures of, you know, modern human life. I'm not even just going to say capitalism, which I blame for a lot of issues, but not in this case, because, you know, China's and got a lot of issues with environmental issues as well. This is just modern human life right here. This constant need to expand and destroy nature and sort of keep creating and keep producing is stressing our environment out, and eventually it will come back to haunt us in a very, very big way. We're already seeing it. We saw it in California. Look at those wildfires. We lost a huge part of LA County. We're seeing wildfires in places that there never were wildfires. And this is something that's happening because, again, the way that we are stressing nature. And then you add in things like pesticides, and man, these bees don't stand a chance. Now, I know a lot of people like, I don't like bees. Oh man, I got stung by a bee when I was 5 once. Can't stand bees. Well, bees pollinate about 75% of U.S. fruits, nuts, and vegetables. Yes, 75% of our fruits, nuts, and vegetables. 75%, folks, supporting roughly almost $20 billion in agricultural production every year. 20 billion. That's right. Almonds, for instance, rely totally on bees. Almonds. You like almonds? Well, you might not have too many of them very soon. Shortages are already happening. Some beekeepers are losing so many hives, up to 80% in some extreme cases, that they are shifting from pollination services to honey production or are risking going out of business altogether. That is catastrophic. Again, we're talking about 75% of U.S. fruit, nuts, and vegetables that comes from honeybee pollination. So when I say that, like, it's a good thing that, like, go back to the very beginning of the show where I played the clip of them yelling at Victoria Sparks, the representative from here in the state of Indiana. This is what I'm talking about. These people have created a world in which every facet of our society has begun to portray us. Our education system, our media, our military, our legal system and justice system. The food we eat is poison and toxic. The air we breathe is toxic. Our water is toxic. All of it done in the service of enriching a few people. And now we're killing all the bees, which make all the food. So yeah, I'm going to need y'all to get a little bit angrier about this one. Because 75% of fruit, nuts, and vegetables. Wow. Man. Now, there are some things that we can do. We need research into better mite control. But as we speak, Elon Musk and Donald Trump are currently gutting all of our government's research capacity. So they probably making this problem worse as we speak. You know, this isn't just about honeybees. You know, this is about our natural world that sustains us. We only got one planet. I think it's important to remember that. We only got one planet. If we mess this one up, we are totally screwed. I know Elon likes to think he's going to escape to Mars or something, but Mars ain't habitable yet. It ain't habitable yet. And so we got no choice but to make this planet a little bit more habitable for all of us, so that we can have future generations of young people. And it's important in places like Northwest Indiana that we hold these people polluting our air, water, and communities accountable. They have to be held accountable. U.S. still is killing Lake Michigan. Rarely get held accountable. They don't even pay the tax that they used to pay, which used to help sustain the city. So we just basically letting them kill us all off for what? They don't even hire people from Gary, really. So what are we doing? We're going to kill off our air, our water, our food, all the bees and everything else. For what? Who's getting rich from this? Certainly not me. And if you're listening to this, probably not you either. All right, folks, I'll get off the soapbox, because it's about that time.